The judge thought the courtroom was a cage, cold walls, locked doors, absolute control. He believed today would be the day Gotham's most dangerous mind finally bowed his head. But the Joker was smiling, not the loud, laughing kind, the quiet smile of a man who already knew how the story would end, because this wasn't a trial. It was a confession waiting to explode. And before the final gavel fell, the city would learn something terrifying. Sometimes justice wears a clown's face. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, because once this story starts, there is no walking out of the courtroom unchanged. The courtroom smelled like old paper and disinfectant, the kind of place where truth was supposed to be scrubbed clean and sorted into neat sentences. Joker sat alone at the defense table, hands folded, hair unkempt but intentional, as if chaos itself had learned discipline. Chains rested loosely around his wrists, more symbolic than necessary. He hadn't tried to escape. That was the first thing that unsettled everyone. Judge Harold Kane entered without looking at him. Kane was famous for his severity, a man who believed mercy was a weakness dressed up as virtue. He had sent powerful men to prison and poor men to oblivion with the same steady hand. Gotham praised him as incorruptible. Joker had laughed when he heard that word. "You understand the charges against you," Kane said, his voice echoing with authority. Joker nodded politely. "I understand stories better than charges," he replied softly. A few murmurs rippled through the room before the judge slammed his gavel. Order was restored, but something invisible had already shifted. The hearing moved forward, rigid and procedural. Prosecutors spoke in rehearsed tones, describing chaos, deaths, fear. Joker listened like a patient student. When it was his turn to speak, he didn't defend himself. He asked a question. "Your Honor," Joker said, tilting his head. "Do you believe the law is blind?" Kane stiffened. "The law does not entertain philosophy," he said. "It delivers judgment." Joker smiled faintly. "That's what scares people." The judge ordered him to stick to facts. Joker complied. At least it sounded like he did. He began talking about Gotham, not crimes. People, a factory worker who lost his job when a company quietly moved overseas. A woman evicted after missing one payment while her landlord attended charity galas. A boy arrested for stealing medicine, sentenced under Kane's own courtroom to 5 years. As Joker spoke, the room grew uncomfortably quiet. These weren't accusations, they were memories. Kane's jaw tightened. He recognized some of them. He had signed those papers. He had called it justice. "Why are you telling us this?" the judge snapped. "Because you asked me to explain myself," Joker said. "I'm explaining the city you helped build." The prosecutor objected, calling it manipulation. The judge sustained it, but his voice lacked its earlier certainty. Joker noticed. He leaned back, chains clinking softly, like punctuation. The first twist came quietly. A clerk fainted near the benches. No gas, no tricks, just exhaustion. The courtroom recessed briefly, and during that pause, Joker was left alone with the judge's eyes. Kane stared at him like he was seeing something he had avoided his entire career. When proceedings resumed, Joker requested permission to speak freely. Laughter broke out. Kane hesitated. Then, against his instincts, he allowed it. Later, he would never forgive himself. Joker stood. He didn't pace. He didn't shout. He spoke like a man delivering a eulogy. "I don't kill for fun," he said. "I kill because someone already pulled the trigger. I just make sure the echo is loud enough to hear." The room erupted. Kane slammed the gavel again, but Joker continued unfazed. He spoke of men who ruined lives with signatures, of betrayals hidden behind legal language. He never named names. He didn't have to. Kane's face had gone pale. "You sit there," Joker said gently, turning toward the bench. "And you think the difference between us is sanity. But we're both executioners. I just don't pretend my hands are clean." The judge ordered him to sit. Joker obeyed, but the damage was done. Reporters scribbled furiously. Jurors avoided eye contact. Gotham's moral certainty was cracking in real time. Then Joker did something no one expected. He apologized. "I'm sorry," he said, eyes glistening, not theatrically, but with something dangerously close to sincerity. "I'm sorry I had to be the mirror." For a moment, Kane looked like he might speak without the bench's protection. His voice came out hoarse. "This court will not be lectured by a murderer." Joker chuckled softly. No, but it will remember me. As guards moved closer, Joker leaned forward, lowering his voice so only the judge could hear. Whatever he whispered never reached the microphones. Kane froze. His gavel slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a hollow crack that echoed louder than any laugh. The judge called for an immediate adjournment. Panic buzzed through the courtroom. Joker was escorted out, still smiling that quiet smile. As the doors closed behind him, Kane remained seated, staring at the empty space where the clown had stood. That night, Gotham would learn the hearing hadn't cornered Joker at all. It had cornered the judge, and the real verdict was still coming. The city didn't sleep that night. Gotham never did, but this was different. The kind of restlessness that crawls under skin and whispers that something irreversible has already begun. Judge Harold Kane sat alone in his chambers long after the courthouse emptied, staring at his reflection in the dark window. Joker's words hadn't echoed. They had settled, like dust you can't wipe away. He told himself it was manipulation, that monsters specialize in planting doubt. Yet the whisper Joker left him with kept replaying, calm and intimate, as if it had always lived there. You never asked who benefits from your justice. By morning, the media had split into two camps. Some called Joker a deranged criminal performing theatrics. Others called the hearing a revelation, a crack in Gotham's marble face. Kane refused interviews. He issued a statement about decorum and law, but his hands trembled as he signed it. Joker, meanwhile, sat in his cell, humming softly. The guards avoided his eyes, not because they feared an attack, but because they feared agreement. He hadn't threatened anyone. He hadn't promised chaos. He had simply told stories that sounded too familiar. Days passed. Kane tried to return to routine. Sentencing, rulings. The gavel rose and fell, but each strike sounded hollow. Faces from Joker's stories appeared in the crowd. Workers, mothers, boys too young to look so tired. Kane told himself he was imagining it. Then the resignations began. A city councilman stepped down after a midnight press conference, speaking vaguely about personal reflection. A corporate executive vanished from public life, leaving behind a letter about unpayable debts. No crimes were announced, no charges filed, just silence where power used to sit. The city felt lighter, uneasy but lighter. Kane watched the news in disbelief. Joker hadn't escaped. He hadn't orchestrated riots or explosions, yet Gotham was changing. Slowly, surgically, like a tumor being starved rather than cut out. The judge requested another hearing. When Joker was brought back into the courtroom, he looked almost disappointed. Already? He asked. I thought you'd need more time to hate yourself. Kane ignored the remark. He dismissed the audience, leaving only guards and the two of them. This time there were no speeches, no theatrics. Why me? Kane asked quietly. Joker leaned forward. Because you believed you were clean. Kane clenched his jaw. I followed the law. Joker nodded. So did everyone who ever broke a city. For the first time, Kane didn't raise his voice. What do you want? Joker studied him, eyes sharp beneath the paint. I wanted you to listen, and now I want you to choose. Choose what? Joker smiled. Whether the story ends with me or with you. The judge recoiled. Are you threatening me? No, Joker said softly. I'm freeing you. That night, Kane went home and opened old files. Not to expose anyone, just to read. Patterns emerged. Leniency here, severity there, always aligned with influence, with comfort, with his own unspoken biases. The realization wasn't explosive, it was suffocating. The next morning, Kane did something unprecedented. He recused himself from Joker's case, then from several others. Then he announced a full leave of absence, citing a crisis of conscience. The city was stunned. Joker laughed when he heard the news. Not loudly, proudly. Weeks later, Kane visited Joker's cell unannounced. No robes, no authority, just a man. I don't know how to fix this, Kane admitted. Joker tilted his head. You don't fix a story by erasing chapters, he said. You fix it by changing how it ends. What about you? Kane asked. Do you see yourself as the hero? Joker stood, chains rattling. No, he said. I see myself as the consequence. Kane swallowed. and when consequences go too far. Joker's eyes darkened. Then someone stops me. That's the part you still believe in. That's why I chose you. As Kane turned to leave, Joker called after him. Judge? Kane paused. I never needed chaos, Joker said. I needed witnesses. Months later, Gotham would debate whether Joker had won. Crime statistics shifted. Power structures cracked. No one could prove cause and effect, but people felt it, a strange balance. Fear mixed with clarity. Joker was eventually sentenced. Life behind walls, no escape, no grand finale. As he was led away for the last time, he looked back at Kane, now seated among the public, no longer above anyone. Joker smiled that quiet smile again, because the city hadn't been saved by a clown. It had been saved by a man forced to finally see, and that, Joker believed, was the cruelest joke of all. Some villains wear masks, some heroes wear scars, and sometimes the line between them is only the courage to face the truth. Subscribe for more dark cinematic stories that stay with you long after the screen fades to black.